Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master, in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. Yeah. I'm a field Negro.
But of late, every Monday morning, Opinion Box doing some fucking shit for me to be on him, and I've never been on somebody like this. So it seems like if I'm on him, but I'm not on him, he just not racing. So here, on this year emancipation, I need again to come with my other correction for this big thing, dirty sellout of a black man who is not a black man, who don't even deserve a cookie from my race. Let me see what you do now. This is if sellout was a person. The jersey big like a bed sheet. You wouldn't study to fucking lose some weight. But you study and emancipate yourself from P&M school and weed whackers. So I want to ask him, if you don't have grass cutters now under the UNC, I want to ask how the grass cutting, the chumming it with the teeth, how the grass to the side of the road cutting. You see, this kind of brainwashing and this kind of blatant stupidity is why black people always in the position that we in. You can't even afford a good face wash for your face. Hey, you're licking Bamsi so hard. And what you really benefiting from it? Because when you're licking Bamsi, you're supposed to lick Bamsi for a cause. You're licking Bamsi so hard. You're supposed to be doing well. Right? You're supposed to be able to go in Pennywise and afford the best wash, the best dyes for your beard, the best weight loss, everything. You're supposed to be affording the best. But you looking Bamsi so hard and it's still suffering and squinting. How? You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master, in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened.
Team wrap it up is here. Opinion Box and Kingsley. They put crazy and crazy together and come up with craziness.
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all that are outside. Today is the 4th of the 8th month, 2026. Now is exactly 56 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock. Trinidad and Tobago, these lives here today is on schedule. Normally we have a time frame in which we appear online, but there are things that I need to express. And when I am moved by the Spirit of Almighty God, I have no other choice than to listen. So, a day, August 1st, which would have commemorated our emancipation, a day which many of us in the society would have reflected on our journey from Africa, in which many of us, our forefathers, that would have left Africa in slave ships, beaten, and some die before we reach our destination. We were brought to the Caribbean and Latin America, where we were forced to work. We were given a number, and the basic necessities of life, we were denied that. Some of our wives and children have been raped and killed before our eyes. And we have people like Willie Lynch and the white supremacists that would have built philosophy to capture and control the black mind. And our forefathers would have fight bitterly. Many of them die. Many of them have been chastised. Up till this day, the stigma of slavery still live on. And there are people that are still fighting for that not to remain hidden, for black people to understand why we are back economically. Imagine in 1833, when slavery, the act, was proclaimed, the Slave Act, which would have started the transition. We wasn't free yet. People from 6 and under was free. That would have been there to eradicate child labor to a certain degree, and I will come into that just now. So those that are 6 and up had was to work 40 hours a week to repay the slave owner for freeing from 6 and under. Yeah. Whether you have children or not, you have to work that 40 hours a week. Trinidad and Tobago, there are people within our race who is quizzling, who is subverters, who who is apostate to the black race that will sell out just as much as those in our past. Yeah. Not only white people would have engaged. A matter of fact, a better way to put it, there were black people that would assist or was assisting white people to enslave black people. Let me repeat myself. There were black people amongst the white people that was assisting them in slavery. And today, Trinidad and Tobago, I have a good friend that would have went to Ghana and went to the point of no return to see what people of the black race would have went through. Up till this day, we are still traumatized by the events of Jim Crow, Willie Lynch, and many others that would have engaged in the slave movement. An opinion box is our incarnation of those that would assist the white supremacists into conquering us, black people. We had sellouts. And what would have vexed my soul in this whole situation is opinion box is allowing this government to use him or for his own gain. He would have said it on many lives. That subverter, that working with the enemy, and believe you me, Trinidad and Tobago, UNC is an enemy to Trinidad and Tobago. Kamla Prasad Bisesa would have sold out for own gain, not to put Trinidad and Tobago on the mapping. Kamla Prasad Bisesa would have worked with the US government to capture Maduro, and up till today, we have left indelible scars on the Venezuelan community till they do not want to do any business with us. She is likewise a subverter on a different level. But opinion box, that political scumbag, yes, and we must identify them for what they is. Because if they are in a position in which they could point out certain ills in the community to the government, and they're not using that as an opportunity to uplift black people, we must know what they are. Yes. During Emancipation Day, this scumbag, this black man, opinion box, would have seen nothing better than to shit on the sacrifice of black people of all times. must understand what you're doing in this country. Or you must understand the position that you're taking for the love of party rather than the love of God and the sacrifice of our ancestors. People like this ought to be ostracized from the black community in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to know what the historians in this country have to say about this man that would have taken this to a different level to swallow up the sacrifice of black people of all times. Yeah. Because the statement of opinion box is not just a statement, it's shitting in the face of history. And we must see it for what it is. So when, just a while back, I was under a deep sleep, I was driven to purpose to come here this evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and to highlight this problem in full to you. And I am calling on the nation of black people, of Baptist people, of all pundit and all priests that ought to respect religion and religious choice in this country, to condemn this brother if he do not apologize to the people of this country. Because at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago, PNM is one of the oldest party. And in 1956, Emancipation Day, the sacrifice of Eric Williams to our democracy must be respected. And when we allow people like them to cross political lines to the point in which they are doing it, we must condemn them to the fullest. Because all institutions in this country, whether we like it or not, what Eric Williams would have done through the PNM, the People's National Party, this scumbag of a black man who is enjoying all the amenities is going to come within the public domain and entertain foolishness on a level of great concern. The other day when I did see Kurt Megu try to reshape this whole thing around Eric Williams saying he's not the first prime minister, boy, I shake my head. And I would have seen that the UNC would have gotten so desperate under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who is a liar. Lie for the people, lie to the people for 10 years, end up in power and still lying. And people like Opinion Box, David Welch, Heavy Duty, but Tara French, Twiggy, all of them batting for the UNC, NCW and all of them are the head of Kamala dress. Politically. And reshaping every narrative that is on the ground. But I have seen Trinidad and Tobago that in the event that Kamla Prasad Bisesa can lie she way out or misuse facts to represent she, She outrightly come in and lie to you. Yes, 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 yes. People feel the show here this evening is only about opinion box. So you run. Yes, yes, yes. Let me bring this thing here to the forefront. And I watch Kamla Prasad Bisesa go the political wind back. Started tap dance in the face of facts to try to reshape this. So immediately when this statement, I'm a tough fact, when the statement here would have been placed and published, say she played no role. That prime minister, that liar, that subverter, the own people would have denied this. Why, real different in this country.
Ms. Carroll, Trinidad and Tobago is a fellow democracy and a key U.S. economic, diplomatic, and security partner in the Caribbean. And most recently, Trinidad has played an active role in support of U.S. law enforcement efforts in the region, including the arrest and extradition of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. We are very grateful for this work. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on ways we can deepen our strategic relations with Trinidad if you are confirmed as ambassador. Thank you again to our nominees. Again, thank you to your families. And now I'll turn it over to the ranking member for her remarks.
As the chairman said, Trinidad and Tobago's proximity to Venezuela places it on the front lines of regional instability. The country has faced increased migration pressures, trafficking networks, and broader security challenges as a result. If confirmed, I hope you will work to deepen our partnership and support regional stability. I look forward to hearing from each of you. Thank you.
Ms. Carroll, let's start with you, and you have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman, Ranking Member, and distinguished members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today as President Trump's nominee for the ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to take a moment, a point of privilege, to recognize my family that traveled the distance to be with me here today. Advancing American interests and President Trump's vision for the Western Hemisphere. Market opportunities and trade that generate commercial wins for U.S. businesses. I will advance our nation's economic strength by promoting American investment and energy security that benefits U.S. workers and industry while building mutual beneficial ties with this resource-rich Caribbean partner. Recognizing that economic and security interests are deeply intertwined, I will work closely with the Trinbagonian officials to deepen our security partnership, building off of our shared cooperation, including through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. As a founding member of the Americas Council Cartel Coalition and the Shields of the America, Trinidad and Tobago is a regional leader on security and a strong partner in the fight against transnational organized crime. If confirmed, I am committed to working with Trinidad and Tobago to stop illicit narco trafficking that corrupts the lives and livelihood of both our citizens. Finally, if confirmed, I pledge to champion American sovereignty and independence, ensuring that U.S. engagement with Trinidad and Tobago serves our national interests first and reinforces our nation's right to control its own borders, resources, and decision-making. I am committed to supporting enhanced border security and regional migration cooperations, working with the Trinbagonian authorities to prevent illegal immigration, and ensure orderly, lawful movement of people throughout the Caribbean. Together, these priorities reflect this administration's commitment to a safe, secure, and more prosperous Western Hemisphere. I look forward to your questions, and if confirmed, to advancing these goals on behalf of the American people in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. We appreciate that. Let's start with you, Ms. Carroll. We don't often get an appointee that has as great a connection to the country that they're going to as you have. So it's good to see you, and glad you're willing to do this. Tell us a little bit about our relationship with Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, the United States is experiencing a good relationship with the country of Trinidad and Tobago in that they've been very supportive of the Caribbean Basin Initiative, security initiatives, such that they recognize that they do have a porous border and we do need some resources, or they need some resources in order to curtail against illicit human trafficking as well as narco-terrorists. At least Trinidad and Tobago is committed to working with the United States to increase economic opportunities, increase oil and gas exploration, as well as utilize our assistance to help combat some of those illicit trafficking.
What's the stability of their government like?
The government, as far as the stability, I cannot speak to that. If confirmed in getting down to the region and having more dialogue with Post, as well as the government, to find out more about that, but I do know that they have had several emergency orders, which doesn't bode well with regards to the criminal activities that's been occurring for a number of years, and that is something that needs to be addressed. And hopefully, if confirmed with my direction on the ground and sharing that information back to committee, as well as the president and the state, that we can come up with some strategic goals to help in that endeavor.
Thanks so much.
I want to move on to you, Ms. Johnson-Carroll, and talking about countering violent extremism, because Trinidad and Tobago has the highest per capita rate of ISIS recruitment in the Western Hemisphere. The country has struggled with repatriating its nationals and has dealt with lingering security risks. At the same time, the Trump administration has gutted funding for countering violent extremist efforts, or CVE, the very program designed to address radicalization in places like Trinidad and Tobago. So, Ms. Johnson-Carroll, do you believe that cutting CVE programs helps us advance the U.S. national security interests? And if confirmed, would you advocate for programs to prevent radicalization in Trinidad and Tobago?
Senator, thank you so much for the question. It is an important issue with regards to transnational illicit opportunities for criminal elements in the country. And since I am not in post, I cannot say what amount of monies has been.
I'm not asking for an amount of money, but would you advocate that those programs to prevent radicalization should be funded? I'm not asking for an amount.
Thank you. With the INL, as my understanding, and the CBSI has been items that have been placed particularly with combating those particular issues that the committee have supported, the CBSI and INL as well. And I look forward to at least seeing what sort of resources have been put in.
Would you agree this radicalization is a problem and it needs funding to be addressed so you can do your job?
The radicalization is a problem, ma'am, and I look forward to working with the committee and the State Department and President Trump in combating this issue.
Thank you.
Trinidad and Tobago. Let me show you how serious this thing is. Let me show you how serious this thing is. Because they're talking about combating radicalization. Now, I second this video here so you could understand. They're talking about efforts to combat radicalization. And this woman just totally oblivious to what is taking place in this country. Because at the end of the day, the lock of thing like hype, the lock of thing like CCC, the lock of thing like Civilian Conservation Corps, and they're hoping that crime go down, unemployment rate, and somebody would have said that within the comment section. You see David Welch come on the platform last night and lie through his teeth, something that his prime minister is doing. And you know what threatened me about this whole situation? What is distasteful? Yes, what is distasteful about this whole situation, Trinidad and Tobago, is this. Because you see a man come up, lie through his teeth, and misrepresenting facts. Yes, misrepresenting facts. Yes. Misrepresenting facts.
Trinidad and Tobago just vanished. CSO's latest number shows that unemployment jumped from 4.3% to 5.4% in one quarter. Employment dropped from 569,900 to 564,000. The most interesting thing, look at the participation rate. It held at 55.1%. Over a decade, our low unemployment number was hiding something. It stayed low mostly because people stopped looking for work altogether and dropped out of the count. A discouraged worker isn't unemployed on paper, just disappear from it. First quarter of 2026, however, broke that pattern. People stayed in the labor force, kept searching, and the number still went up. That's not a stronger job market having a bad quarter. That's a weaker one finally telling the truth. A rising unemployment rate while the participation rate stays the same is worse than the slow decline that we have gotten used to. Young people took the hit the hardest. Youth unemployment hit 12.6%, more than double the national average. Small caveat, quarter 4 to quarter 1 always carry some seasonal noise as Christmas hiring winds down. However, the numbers are there and they paint a clear picture. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below on the unemployment situation in Trinidad and Tobago. How hard is it for you to find a job? Like and follow as always.
So last night on the show, on our show, on our Let Our Voice Heard platform, the logo that you are seeing behind me, on the Warrior Princess platform on TikTok, and it was piloted here on this platform. David Welch would have come up within the comment, that lick bam bam, everybody know, and not willing to come clean on how much the government is paying him to spread propaganda and misinformation within the public domain. He come up and he talk about the job market and totally misrepresent the figures. And there's a fallacy of small samples. But he would have caught me off guard, because at the end of the day, what should have been asked is from what period he's talking about. He'd identify the period. You see, this thing is hell different, and then you come up and you pretend on the live last night. But it's a good thing to have smart individuals like you all outside there. Trinidad and Tobago, getting back to the point in which I am speaking about. During that interview where we would have played from the US, in which is the apex of transparency, would have labeled Trinidad and Tobago as an allied to the US in capturing Maduro. Yes, yes. And what did Kamla Prasad Bisesa had was to say about it? What did Kamla say about it? What did the UNC said about their involvement over a clear, distinctive piece of rhetoric? You know what I say? According to what have been reported in The Guardian, Prime Minister PM remains Chianti had no role in Maduro capture, despite what was said there. And if we are to analyze the pattern of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, we will judge this statement here for what it really is. This statement here, we cannot believe what Kamla Prasad Bisesa is saying to the people within this country. We cannot believe her, Trinidad and Tobago. What we must do in opposite is to nationally shut down this country and tell Kamla Prasad Bisesa, enough is enough, and time for you to go. Your presence here in Trinidad and Tobago is no longer welcome. Because if it is, you're making the yoke so hard for each and every one of us within this country, like this, and having SOEs after SOEs, like this. We don't want to hear is of no use to us in this country. That must be the only cry of us in this country here. Talking about this, listen to that. So regardless to the factor that we have sellouts on all different levels, people like Opinion Box, people like, yes, and how nasty this thing is, isn't it? How nasty it is. There are extremists within the UNC that don't care about nothing else than for them to remain on top, have no conscience whatsoever. They will attack people that look like them. They will attack people that talk like them. And they get smart. They get people like Opinion Box, NCW, Batara French, Twiggy, Heavy Duty. All of them, Kingsley, that's scumbag. All of them to attack we. And we, Trinidad and Tobago, and I am talking, and let me specifically talk about the black people. We must understand that these house Negroes and them is not our friend. Yes. Watch what Jaikaran saying about people. Yes, don't feel it's just we alone. Yes.
And that people is hating on me because I refuse to be a racist like them. They're telling me that I gone against my own people. And that I is a MC. Imagine that. Could you imagine that people is hating on me because I refuse to be a racist like them? They're telling me that I gone against my own people. And that I is a MC. Imagine that.
Imagine that, Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine that. When you're having people like Opinion Box, when you're having people like Kingsley that have no control at all, attacking people all over this country. Anytime we say anything concerning the black race, concerning them, oh, we make commentary about the government of this country, they jump up. Philip, all of them, they jump in because they do not want the truth to be spoken. And let me bring a video here concerning Kingsley. You see people all them may have, or you have a photographic memory as me. But before Trinidad and Tobago, because I don't know already the outcome. Yes, I've been in certain circles. I know the outcome. I know the outcome. And today, Trinidad and Tobago, we must break. Yes, we must break that. I know the outcome. No, if no mutt, no baby. Yes. No, if no but no baby. I want to understand what we up against here in this country and what it takes to fight this present UNC government. You hear Mr. Jaikaran in his statement just now there, talking about how they're coming after him. You know what they prefer, Trinidad and Tobago? they prefer that you remain stupid. They prefer that you remain uninformed. They prefer that you follow after Kamala blindly. Yes, that's what they prefer. And this racist woman, this Prime Minister, who have no problem in lying to the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, they prefer that you follow this woman blindly. Yes, yes. Yes, that is what they prefer. Nothing else than that. And this year, Trinidad and Tobago, is Kamala Prasad Bisesa on chain of Shilish. Yes. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, unscripted.
The black man on the other side talked about
every single Indian voted for the UNC or for the partnership, they could never get the 51% required.
the only Tunsi children we have are those whom the PNM don't let me go there. Not tonight. I know.
You have to load up the matic. You have to load up this matic. You have to pull it back. You have to knock it on them. And then knock it again. Knock it again.
Support country before party will go to hell. Go to
percent, which owns Keith Christopher Rowley. They have their Oreo now. Who's their guy? And Keith Christopher Rowley. And that's how the 1% friends and family of Rowley control.
Yeah, Camille. At least I have a name for my ancestors. Where you got yours from? Your name is that of a slave master.
Tomorrow morning, the Peace Partnership is the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight and tomorrow,
that's your Prime Minister, Trinidad and Tobago. Unscripted. Unapologetic. And you have people like that sellout opinion box. That scumbag, David Welch. Kingsley, who will do anything for a dollar. Anything, Trinidad and Tobago for a dollar. Will defend this government to the last. To the last. Despite what they say within the public domain. And Kingsley have always been a sellout Trinidad and Tobago. That is facts. And this evening, I would like to remind all here about this video. Kingsley have a very long history of being a sellout, of being a mercenary, of being a subverter to the highest bidder. And he on program in the evening touting the government policy without question. These men and them is opportunists. These men and them is party loyalists. These men and them will do anything for the land. There are people like Opinion Box, NCW, Twiggy, all of them. The colors is showing. But God have a way in speaking Trinidad and Tobago. Said out of the mouths of the babes and sucklings, he thou would have perfected praise. You understand? So let me play this video here. And many of you outside, they don't know what to look for. But the man inside of the video was Kingsley. Yeah, that Kingsley. Political sellout. Yes.
Local and international journalists were pushed out of the way by Jack Warner's bodyguard as they sought answers to the alleged $10 million bribe after today's parliament session broke for lunch. The undeterred journalists did not give up even after being shouted at by the bodyguard. Ever since news broke that Jack Warner was indicted, international media have set up a temporary home in Trinidad and Tobago, covering every event possible that he attends, as they still have unanswered questions surrounding his involvement in the FIFA scandal. Mahalia Joseph has more in this report.
A contingent of foreign journalists from the BBC, Sky News, Associated Press and Al Jazeera, along with several local media personnel, waited patiently in the parliamentary chamber on Friday for former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner to leave at the lunch break. But to their surprise, he wasn't too keen on responding to the questions being posed by members of the media.
Mr. Warner, a couple of words. Mr. Parliament, can you please respect my parliament, please? Of course, yes, sir. I do what in your country do tonight. Of course.
As they proceeded to follow Mr. Warner out of the parliament, a man believed to be his bodyguard shouted at reporters as they kept pressing the ex-FIFA vice president. One journalist in particular, London's Sky News' David Bowden, was manhandled.
Hey, no comments, no comments, no comments. Excuse me, no comments. No comments, please, no comments. No comments, yes.
But even that wasn't enough to stop an Associated Press cameraman from asking Mr. Warner about Sepp Blatter's role in the FIFA scandal.
You're going to stop for him? You're going to stop? Touch my camera. Can you speak for him? I'm not going to move. I speak it. No comment. What do you know against Mr. Blatter? Mr. Warner, as a parliamentarian, do you think it's right for your associates?
He eventually left the scene without uttering a word about the matter to the media, leaving them with unanswered questions and an added drive to find out the truth. Today they weren't so lucky, but from the looks of it, it seems as though they don't intend to give up.
Good evening, Mr. Warner, Andrew Jennings, BBC Panorama programme. Would you give me an interview?
Excuse.
Would you? Well, look, we're on the public highway. Please don't interrupt. I would like to ask you, how much profit do you expect to make from trading in world?
This isn't the first time that international media have been turned down.
Now, the person, bodyguard that was outside Parliament, that was Kingsley. So Kingsley have a history of selling out, a long history. That is, at the end of the day, that is not no if, no, but, no, maybe. The man have a long history of selling out. Yeah. A long history of selling out in this country. So when you see him on radio programs supporting our government, or you understand that this man doesn't do nothing outside of his interests, understand that when this man telling you something publicly and calling in on radio stations, he's not doing it outside of his interests. So when you hearing people like them and the alignment with people like Twiggy, David Welch, Opinion Box, understand that these people and them is not doing anything outside their interests. But I have a mark the bus. And what is so distasteful about Opinion Box, Trinidad and Tobago? What is so distasteful of that sellout Opinion Box? Who we understand that is getting public assistance, have a lucrative business in transporting children. He said. That is now on radio station. And I'm sure that in a charity work. I'm sure that in a charity work. Bleeding the very core of this country. To sell out people of his own race, Trinidad and Tobago. That is one of the most deadliest sins that you could ever have, because you hate yourself. It was stated within the Bible. If you say you love God and you hate your brother, he is a liar and the truth is not within you. When you see people like Twiggy, when you hear people like David Welch, when you hear people like Lyndon Mack, when you hear people like those, they are hateful people and they deserve no love. Yeah, you too heavy duty. You too LCW. All of you deserve to be roast in hell. At least be truthful now, boy. Or you understand that this thing is close to my heart. I'm talking with passion. There's no aggression that you see in here. This is hurt because I know what certain people is going through within Point Fortin, within Labre, within Palo Seco, within Saparia, within Penal, within Debe. I know what people are going through. Because every day, as a point of order, some of you reach out. We can't help, but we listen to some of your complaints and we try to highlight it on a level that people see it and address it. I know what people are going through. And for these scumbags to come here, these lick bam bam sellouts, turncoat, subverters, aiding a government to destroy the country that they come from. I have to say something. Despite what I go through Trinidad and Tobago, despite the many challenges that I face on a daily basis, me, I am one of you. I feel it, just like you. Opportunities miss me, just like you. But yet still, this cause here is higher than myself. And the purpose of this year is to give you strength. We are in this together. And we could get out of this together. Kamala is not God. The UNC is not God. We would have given them a mandate in which they would have betrayed. And it's time we should pull back our goodwill from them. I have been preaching this from since day one. So the many of you that are outside there that is listening, I pray to Almighty God that He give you strength. And you not be a coward. And you not be someone that lose faith. So at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago, and to the wider public, and to all of you that is listening, yesterday, as a matter of fact, let me play back this tape here so you could understand this thing here from inception. Yes.
Every Monday morning, opinion box doing some fucking shit for me to be on him, and I've never been on somebody like this. So it seems like if I'm on him, but I'm not on him, he just not racing. So here, on this year emancipation, I need again to come with my other correction for this big thing, dirty sellout of a black man who is not a black man, who don't even deserve a cookie from my race. Let me see what you do now. This is if sellout was a person. The jersey big like a bed sheet. You wouldn't study to fucking lose some weight. But you study and emancipate yourself from P&M school and weed whackers. So I want to ask him, if you don't have grass cutters now under the UNC, I want to ask how the grass cutting, the chumming it with the teeth? How the grass to decide that the road cutting? You see, this kind of brainwashing and this kind of blatant stupidity is why black people always in the position that we in. You can't even afford a good face wash for your face. Hey, you're licking Bamsi so hard. And what you really benefiting from it? Because when you're licking Bamsi, you're supposed to lick Bamsi for a cause. You're licking Bamsi so hard. You're supposed to be doing well. Right? You're supposed to be able to go in Pennywise and afford the best wash, the best dyes for your beard, the best weight loss, everything. You're supposed to be affording the best. But you looking Bamsi so hard and it's still suffering and squinting. How? You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master, in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened.
Team wrap it up is here. Opinion Box and Kingsley. They put crazy and crazy together and come up with craziness.
Yes.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to everybody that is on the live. Now, let me read this passage here that come from the Bible, and addressing specifically a person within the comments. Woe unto you, scribe and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like unto white sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outwardly, but are within full of dead man bones, and of all unclean. Even you also outwardly appears righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribe and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophet and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we will not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Trinidad and Tobago. There are certain type of people that teaches a philosophy. And if God was like man, all of us is doomed. Because in the comment section on YouTube, Trinidad and Tobago, thinking right, this platform has the wrong people. Yeah, listen to thinking right now. This platform has the wrong people pushing for change. They show they are easily turned back and fought and cannot trust them. All you make the country worse by voting in the UNC. Trinidad and Tobago, at the end of the day, there are certain things I don't regret. And there are certain things that is facts outside here. We can't run from it. It's not what is always been said. It's how it have been said. Many are the people that would have turned away from the PNM, including myself, at one point in time, was based on how they would have dealt with people. And people felt that from the leadership. What we came here on this platform and did was highlight that fact. There were certain instances where we would have taken it too far. But there are people that is saying that right now within the PNM, seeing what we are up against, and they have nothing to say. The strongest disciple within the Bible was Paul. And if we did the history, his name was one Saul. Human beings, Trinidad and Tobago, is one of the most evil things that it have outside here. But guess what? People change. People change. And the righteousness of loyalty, no matter what, is what is destroying this country at this point in time. And now you must understand, Trinidad and Tobago, where this narrative is coming from. There are people that is afraid to speak up in the administration and the party that they support, so they remain silent. And there are others too, because I'm not limiting that statement to a PNM official. You hear that thinking, right? Because if you was to go in the philosophy of Sun Tzu, the art of war, there are people, there are double agents that operate within a particular way. So they come and they purport themselves to be a certain type of person. And then they started this distort information. I am against bad leadership in this country. And what we are seeing here in operation from the UNC, I have no issue, no problem in a man saying what he says. But I want you, the national community, to also understand why he is saying what he says. That is what I want you to understand. Why he is saying what he says. So don't be led astray, Trinidad and Tobago. Though not everybody that is posting certain things within the comment section, which we know it, but we just don't entertain certain things. This man here disrespect the whole black community, and he must apologize because he would have disrespected the contribution of all history.
From PNM school and
yes.
Peter Sell from PNM school, and while he's trying to promote this disgusting jersey, he's more or less trying to say that the PNM created a nation of grass cutters. But the very thing that you're critical of, your party would have created but under a different name. But what is the difference? Khadija Amin would have boasted that they are paying more money to these people, but these people are crying out that they are not being paid. But under the PNM, they would have had thousands of more people under the CPEP program and they were getting paid no problem. Sometimes, sir, sometimes you need to just shut your damn mouth, because the very thing that you were critical of yesterday is the very thing you'll have to defend today. Keep that in mind. Emancipate yourself from PNM school, and while he's trying to promote this disgusting jersey, he's more or less trying to say that the PNM created a nation of grass cutters. But the very thing that you're critical of, your party would have created but under a different name. But what is the difference? Khadija Amin would have boasted that they are paying more money to these people, but these people are crying out that they are not being paid. But under the PNM, they would have had thousands of more people under the CPEP program and they were getting paid no problem. Sometimes, sir, sometimes you need to just shut your damn mouth, because the very thing that you were critical of yesterday is the very thing you'll have to defend today. Keep that in mind.
The very thing that you was critical of yesterday, you're defending today. And that was the reason why all of us here on this platform, including myself, Candace Edwards, and a lot of people that would have supported the UNC. And despite what Thinking Right is saying within the comment section, I am at this point in time nationally calling for all those that would have deserted the PNM to come back home, to come back. What if Thinking Right would order to stay out of the party regardless to the factor that you vote something else? That is a thing for he. But I, at this point in time, is calling on those that would have shifted their vote to those that would have not voted to come back home. Yes, come back home. And you are welcome.
Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling.
Yeah.
Calling for you and for me. See on the portals, he's waiting and watching for you and for me.
Yeah.
Come home, come home.
Despite the mistake that you would have made to voted for our next party in the last election,
come home.
Come home. See what this UNC government is doing to us, to this country.
Calling, oh sinner, come home.
Despite that, come home.
For the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. Though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. Come home, come home, ye who are weary. tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner, come home.
Was telling them, who tell you to go and pick up a gun when it have other things? That's the pitch I running with. I not running with which politician tell them what. Not the Kareem Martin, not what Eric Williams say. I not talking about
no,
that.
but you see, you have to deal with the core issue.
I am speaking
because
about...
he referred, when they were making the choice to educate the people, he referred to the schools as cowsheds, right? And chose not to make schools to educate Afro-Trinbagonians, and Afro-Trinbagonians supported that.
Listen to me, yeah? Isaac Gillis like to, when we talking, at the end of the day, I don't care what it is. He could call them cow shed, goat shed, whatever shed he choose to call them. I am speaking directly to the community of itself, in and of itself, because you call them the cow shed, but it's plenty cow shed they build after that. And out of them cow shed comes great success, because the parents and persons from that community work hard, whether it's donation, whether it's to sell this, whether it's to sell that, they're strong in the children PTA, etc., 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 etc.
So, man, here's something. You go in and rally the black community to get them to do what you trying to say.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Guys, hold on. Because I think you're gonna unmute, by the way, but I think both of you guys on the same line. I think Obi line comes from the political side of things and wanting to deal with that, and Aretha, you non-political and just on the side of human and just people in general now. But Obi was also speaking about the same thing that you're speaking about, the Indian and the African, and wanting African to do better because the Indian people in general do better as well. Not to make it about race, but that's basically the same thing that both of you guys talking about. Unfortunately, I think there's a misunderstanding in the communication there. Unfortunately,
David, I understand what she's saying, but hear what I'm trying to tell you, right? Yeah. One of the hardest things to do is mobilize Afro-Trinbagonians to do the right thing. And since she wanted, the reason why I asked her the portion question earlier on is because I don't speak in general, I don't ever generalize. I just always say there's a large portion or a small portion or a majority, right? The majority of Afro-Trinbagonians in Trinidad and Tobago gravitate to degenerative behavior. Me asking you and telling you. You just see it on our social medias. Look at all the platforms that have the most degenerate content or degenerate behaviors. They have the largest set of followings. You want to know why? Because that is what we gravitate to, right? We are always quick to fight and undermine each other instead of trying to lift up one another. Right? And we never stand for the right things. Look how many schools were closed down right in the Port of Spain area that was closed down by the PNM. Then you had schools that Kamla was built that they neglected to finish build. And I always tell people what PNM capitalizes on is the ignorance of their East-West corridor voter base. Because that is why I made the statement saying that if it required a means test to vote, PNM could never rule this country. There's a reason why voting is dumbed down to the dumbest version of just stamp a symbol next to a X next to your symbol. It is done on purpose to make sure that down to the dumbest person who doesn't even understand half of the things that you are talking about, Arita, half of the things David is talking about, or half of the things I am talking about, can still vote. You have a society that votes most of the time on things they don't even blasted understand. And that is the truth. So how do you empower a society of people who don't understand these things? When you go into a ghetto community and you try to have conversations like this, they will load you up. They don't want to hear what you had to say. And the reason for that is because they've been abandoned so long, they don't... Why you feel me and X always be saying on the radio station, there is no intervention. Afro-Trinbagonians in Trinidad and Tobago gravitate to degenerative behavior. Me asking you and telling you. Afro-Trinbagonians in Trinidad and Tobago gravitate to degenerative behavior. Me asking you and telling you.
So, just a few days hence, we would have picked up on this conversation between David Welch, Opinion Box, and Arita. And since then, we have been making a clarion call for Arita to apologize, to come clean, and to denounce this group of people publicly. And up till today, I never would have seen any resemblance concerning that. We know David Welch gone, and you see the all-time low that Opinion Box would have sung to. And I am saying to you, Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, before I go on, everybody who on the live here now on YouTube, at this point in time, I would like that like the program. Show a thumbs up the program. Yeah, is a thumb finger at the bottom of the program that show the thumbs up, like the program, that the algorithm would send it. And many of you yesterday that would have liked the program, that would have it off the charts, it would have been suggested to plenty other people. Yeah, plenty other people would have seen it because of that, what Oye would have done. So show some love, the thumbs up. Yeah, let me show you where the thumbs up does be. It's right there in the bottom. Or you see that thumbs up button there? Press that thumbs up button and like the program. That is it currently taking place right now on YouTube. Workers' Rights 868 on YouTube. The thumbs up button. Press that thumbs up button. Right, so at this point in time, Trinidad and Tobago, we are in winding down mode. Now that was Opinion Box. And it's clear, Trinidad and Tobago, if anything you had to get from this program this evening, that David Welch is up to no good, Opinion Box is up to no good, and anybody who is seen in any close association with these people and them is up to no good. We have a prime minister in this country that will say and do anything and will lie to save face. Because despite this article, despite the article, the interview that was played before, she would have seen it fit to make this statement publicly. And the US would have come out clearly and lucidly and said that Trinidad was involved. The thing about it, Trinidad and Tobago, if America is to be charged for a war crime, Trinidad won't be far behind. It won't be far behind. Trump only have a certain amount of time in office, and the world will remember Trinidad and Tobago. Not what the people of this country would have done to the Venezuelan government, but to the UNC. What they do and what they signify. Because at the end of the day, if they had any good intention for us in this country, if they would have cared about democracy, it would not have no SOE. It would have had strategic police operations that would have been in the business of solving crime. Yes. Yes, that is what it would have. Now I know it's a lot to take in. I for myself don't want to overwhelm you with things that I believe that you should know. But watch this video, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are going to come back and we will wrap up, close up.
Look at this bunch of hypocrites who using the Emancipation Day celebration as a platform to divide the people even more. Look at them. Look at them. All they booing the wrong people. These is the people all they had to boo. It's them was in power for all these years, not just the 9 to 10 years, all these years. And black people still where we is today. That's why I big up the leaders and them for the Emancipation from the Emancipation Committee who speak the truth and talk about black people need to mind the business and have respect and all these different things. Because we lost as a people following people like this who trying to make you feel that as a government who now in power, a year and something, have the country how it is now, and only buying that wholesale. It's them should be booing, them here should be getting boo. Because when they was there, they didn't care about we. All they care about was their family and contracts and getting kickbacks. And people coming now to talk about the starving. Are they starving now? What these people really do to put us in a better place? We're supposed to be well off. This was an oil-rich country. Black people still killing each other. I'm robbing each other. Pulling on each other every chance they get. We're not emancipated mentally. We're fighting our own every chance.
And at the end of the day, the same black people, or you take away the programs from them, or you take away jobs from people, what do you expect? Trinidad and Tobago, what do you expect? And we having people like them trying to come you here and tell you otherwise, Trinidad? Nah. Let me play our next clip. I don't want to hear you. I find he's a lick bamba. So the next clip is this. This is what he taken to, because at the end of the day, Michelle Benjamin, he boss, so he had to sing for his supper. Yeah, he had to sing for his supper.
Responding to questions about the Independence Day parade, she went on to say, quote, "That's all the PNM and their supporters care about. Rum drinking, fetting, whining in the road, and getting freeness from the state," end quote. Responding to questions about the Independence Day parade, she went on to say, quote, "That's all the PNM and their supporters care about. Rum drinking, fetting, whining in the road, and getting freeness from the state," end quote. Prasad Bisesa is accusing the PNM of using Emancipation Day to, quote, "denigrate, humiliate, and tear down Indo and Afro-Trinidadians who don't support their political party." She added that she did not mind if supporters insult and call her racist names. Responding to questions about the Independence Day parade, she went on to say, quote, "That's all the PNM and their supporters care about. Rum drinking, fetting, whining in the road, and getting freeness from the state," end quote. Prasad Bisesa is accusing the PNM of using Emancipation Day to, quote, "denigrate, humiliate, and tear down Indo and Afro-Trinidadians who don't support their political party." She added that she did not mind if supporters insult and call her racist names. Responding to questions about the Independence Day parade, she went on to say, quote, "That's all the PNM and their supporters care about. Rum drinking, fetting, whining in the road, and getting freeness from the state," end quote.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we reach the point where you're wrapping up, and that is your Prime Minister. Anybody who opposes the Prime Minister publicly, there's a PNM. So I am saying to you, Trinidad and Tobago, to those that are opposed to the government, and there is not a PNM, better you come in a camp where people support your views and on it. Because you're seeing a government that she not entertaining your views. She's not entertaining it at all. She's calling it, hey, what she's saying actually is that she's not taking what you're saying seriously. Because at the end of the day, she believes that you're a PNM and she's not taking what you are saying seriously at all. Not at all. Yeah. So you could talk out your lungs. She wants you as an opponent other than a citizen of this country. That was the words and statements from Kamla Prasad Bisesa PNM is using to attack people, to attack the government, using Emancipation Day. A day that have deep trenches within the black community. Turn it into race, turn it into we are against them. Despite what, this woman is not taking responsibility for what she's doing to us. And it could only be logical, Trinidad and Tobago, that we stand up and say something about what is taking place within this country. It's important that we, Trinidad and Tobago, not let this government, this runaway train government, advantage us no longer. It's important that we stand underneath a flag and a people that respect your views. That is important. Yeah. That is important. So at the end of the day, my name is Renison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live on the Workers' Rights Network. So to those that are listening to us, that are hearing us, we will be on tomorrow at 8 p.m. And stay tuned because we will be airing it on the Workers' Rights Platform together with Candice on She Warrior Princess platform on TikTok. Good evening and thanks for listening and thanks for being here and a part of this audience on such short notice. Don't let people like Opinion Box, don't let people like Heavy Duty, Matara French, Twiggy, people like Stefan Reese deceive you. What the government is doing to us here in Trinidad is a call for us to unite and fire Kamla Prasad Bisesa. My name is Renison Jeffrey and I am out. Thanks for watching.
Every Monday morning, Opinion Box doing some fucking shit for me to be on him, and I've never been on somebody like this. So it seems like if I'm on him, but I'm not on him, he just not racing. So here, on this year emancipation, I need again to come with my other correction for this big thing, dirty sellout of a black man who is not a black man, who don't even deserve a cookie from my race. Let me see what you do now. This is if sellout was a person. The jersey big like a bed sheet. You wouldn't study to fucking lose some weight. But you study and emancipate yourself from PNM school and weed whackers. So I want to ask him, if you don't have grass cutters now under the UNC, I want to ask how the grass cutting, the chumming it with the teeth, how the grass to the side of the road cutting. You see, this kind of brainwashing and this kind of blatant stupidity is why black people always in the position that we in. You can't even afford a good face wash for your face. Hey, you're licking Bamsi so hard. And what you really benefiting from it? Because when you're licking Bamsi, you're supposed to lick Bamsi for a cause. You're licking Bamsi so hard. You're supposed to be doing well. Right? You're supposed to be able to go in Pennywise and afford the best wash, the best dyes for your beard, the best weight loss, everything. You're supposed to be affording the best. But you looking Bamsi so hard and it's still suffering and squinting. How? You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga. You fucking house nigga.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened.
Team Wrap It Up is here. Opinion Box and Kingsley, they put crazy and crazy together and come up with craziness.
Yes.